आ जाओ आ जाओ
Sir, sir.
आ जाओ बैठो. Now you start with this. Introduce Pakistan to all of us.
Introduce Pakistan. Right, so sir, Pakistan is a
Instead
South.
of yourself, you introduce Pakistan to all of us.
Right, sir. Sir, Pakistan is a South Asian state. It is located in 61 to 75.5 longitude lines, 24 to 37 latitude lines. We have boundaries on all four sides. We have a coastline of 1046 kilometers. We have a border with China, 596 kilometers. Border with Iran, 959 kilometers. 2210 kilometer border with Afghanistan, and 3323 kilometer border with India. Apart from that, we are the fifth most populous country. Our population currently stands around 241.49 million, and we have a population growth rate of around 2.55%, sir. Apart from that, we are rich in mineral resources. For example, in the case of Balochistan, we have chromite, we have gold, iron, and other minerals. Sir, apart from that, I would say, so that would be about it, sir, about Pakistan.
You tell me, what are the major economic issues which Pakistan economy is facing?
So currently, I would say the first issue would be the fiscal deficit, I would say. It's currently around 7.7% of the GDP. I think we are generating less revenue and we are spending more. That's the first problem. Second problem, sir, I would say we have a current account deficit as well. Our exports are not value added. We are exporting basic commodities such as cotton, basmati rice, and these type of goods, whereas we are importing more value added products such as electronic products, oil, petroleum products. So that basically worsens our current account deficit. Sir, third problem, which is the common problem in the markets, that would be inflation, sir. The recent IMF deal which we carried out, that has really raised the prices in Pakistan. So these would be the three.
There is a lot of beggary in the country. Begging.
Yes, sir.
फिरते हैं ये. क्या है? What is your opinion on that? Is it really they are poor or they have adopted it as a profession?
Sir, about the beggars? Sir, after studying criminology, I believe this is an organized ring. What I have studied, this is basically quoted as an example in the example of the organized crime, where an entire hierarchy exists, and the owner of these hierarchies, they sit back and send these small children to beg and bring daily revenues for those owners. So I would say, sir, it's some people, I would say, they are worthy also. I mean, they are deserving as well. But mostly, sir, I believe it has become more of a business right now, sir.
What is digital marketing? This is one of your subjects.
Right, sir. Sir, digital marketing basically is the use of social media forums to market your product. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Basically, previously, in the previous decades, the marketing was more of the traditional kind, where billboards were used, newspapers were used. But nowadays, the landscape has changed. Now the marketing is being carried out on social media forums. For instance, there are paid ads, influencer endorsements. In our university, sir, we carried out marketing of a local tea brand here in Peshawar. So we contacted different influencers. So that would come under the heading of digital marketing, sir.
How do you see the future of information technology, artificial intelligence?
Sir, future of artificial intelligence, I would say it is a bit of both, I would say. It has a bright future if it is applied in the right side, in the healthcare sector, in the education sector, and other sectors as well, development sectors. But if we use it in wars and spying on other states, then I would say, sir, it's a bit problematic.
Hamza, there is a crisis in the Middle East, Israel and Hamas, they're fighting. Right. And they say that balance of power is changing, shifting.
Right.
Just analyze it, how it is changing.
Sir, currently I would say the international divisions are there. I mean, the US is supporting Israel. That has become one of the blocks. And Palestine, I wouldn't say there is more of a support for Palestine. So I would say the regional, basically, if you look at the history of Israel and Palestine, the 67 war, 6-day war, and the Yom Kippur war of 73, similar sorts of things happened, sir. That's how Israel took control. So currently, the annexations of Gaza, I would say, this I would again say, sir, it would lead to the shift in the balance of power now that the Gaza residents are being shifted to the southern side. I think Israel is planning to take control, and the recent veto of US in the UNSC when the resolution was passed by Brazil, sir, I think. So that shows that US is aligning with Israel, whereas we don't see any massive support for Palestine.
Thank you. A pleasure.
PAS is your first number one choice.
Right.
How do you see its role in the overall governance of the state?
Right. So, sir, I would say PAS is important with respect to the maintenance of law and order. That would be the very first thing. Secondly, I would say the regulation of prices and the regulation of market, that also comes under the district administration. The deputy commissioner and assistant commissioner, they are responsible for that. Thirdly, sir, I would say the local governance systems, I think the assistant commissioners and deputy commissioners can play a role over there as well to carry out the governance at the basic grassroots level. So the political policies, I would say, people can be made more political aware by the district administration, and the policies can be executed in a very efficient and effective manner. That's how I would say that they can play a role in governance, sir.
They can make people more politically aware, the district administration?
Yes,
what
sir.
did you say?
Yes, sir. Sir, basically, I mean that the policies that are formulated at the executive level, what I meant to say is that their execution at the local levels, that's what come under the district administration.
So that is right, but you said that thing also.
Yes, sir. Political, that might be wrong. Yes, sir.
Political awareness. But it is the other way around.
Right.
You see, politicians try to influence the bureaucrats, the working of the
Yes, sir.
these public sector organizations. Pakistan joined CETO and CENTO, when
Yes, sir.
in mid-1950s. How did Pakistan benefit, or Pakistan did not benefit from them?
So benefit, I would say, in the economic sense, we did benefit. I mean, the way we were partitioned, the division of assets and the economic condition in which we were left at, I think it was important to join CETO and CENTO at that very time, and the emergence of the Cold War, where the entire world was divided into the communist and capitalist bloc. So I think that was a necessity at that time. But sir, if you compare the democratic system of Pakistan and India, I would say that our joining of CETO and CENTO basically led to the democratic downside here in Pakistan. We basically became a security state after joining CETO and CENTO. If we would have focused more on regional trade or some other mayas, I think we would have been a strong democracy by now. So that would be the disadvantage of joining CETO and CENTO, sir.
Right. Police Order 2002, PSP is your second choice.
Right, sir.
Has it impacted the police working?
Sir, in my perspective, sir, I don't think so. It has been, it had some valid points, it had good points, but its implementation has been at a crossroad. Basically, the devolution of powers was not expected, was not something that the Pakistan Administrative Service was very fond of. So they had to curb the implementation of Police Order Act. So, sir, in my opinion, I don't think it has been implemented at its fullest level, sir.
What part of it has been implemented? Can you share?
Right, sir. There were miscellaneous items, as I quoted in my previous interview as well. I know about this daily ledger, which has been placed in the police stations, where daily record of crime and stuff is maintained in those records. So I know about that. Apart from that, sir, the security of tenures and the training of police, I don't think those measures have been implemented to its fullest, sir.
What is the role of Competition Commission of Pakistan?
Sir, I'm not aware about the role. I'm sorry. I know it's a regulatory body, but I'm not aware about its role, sir. I'll read about it.
Why Qaid agreed to the cabinet plan and Mr. Nehru rejected it?
Sir, in my perspective, I think Qaid was a proponent of the two-nation theory. He basically believed that our culture, our political ideologies, our religious differences were quite a lot, and we needed a separate state. Basically, he quoted that we need a state to formulate an Islamic laboratory where we could experiment on the principles of Islam. Whereas Gandhi believed that that we were a single nation and we should be living together in the subcontinent. So that's what I have in my knowledge, sir.
Public administration.
Right, sir.
How important is the channel of communication in public administration or in an organization?
Sir, in public administration, I'm not very sure about, but in an organization, I can tell you about, because currently I work in an internal comm company. I would say, sir, communication is very important when I would say it should be both ways, top down and bottom up approach. The lower tier employees should be communicating with the upper hierarchy, and the upper hierarchy should be communicating with the lower employees, sir. I think it creates a sort of motivation, a sense of satisfaction among the employees. Their morale tends to increase. So that's how, sir, communication would be important in my perspective in an organization. Also, sir, I would also say that, for example, if a policy is formulated, for example, there's a decision to change the culture of a company. So it has to be communicated with the lower tier employees. Otherwise, the policy or the strategy wouldn't be that effective, sir.
Can we define an organization?
So organization, I would say there are certain characteristics. There is hierarchy, which I just mentioned, a division of employees. There is a division of labor. Every person is suited for the job, right person for the right job. Then, sir, I would say there is command authority. For example, there is the CEO of the company, that would be at the highest of the command authority. Then at the lower levels, we would have managers who would be managing different employees. So this would be the third characteristic. Apart from that, sir, I would say there's an organization culture as well. For example, in the case of Google, there is relaxed culture. The employees basically, they have cafeterias in their offices, so they basically follow a relaxed culture. Whereas other corporations, organizations such as Microsoft, they basically they have an organized structure. Okay. So corporate culture would be the other characteristic.
Welcome to CSPs Academy for CSS PMS preparation. CSS PMS तहरीरी इम्तिहान के तमाम मज़ामीन की ऑनलाइन और ऑन कैंपस तैयारी के साथ साथ सब्जेक्ट सिलेक्शन, असाइनमेंट चेकिंग, क्लास टेस्ट, मॉक एग्जाम, इंडिविजुअल टीचर डिस्कशन और फीडबैक सेशन का इनकाद किया जाएगा। इसके अलावा FPSC की तजवीज़ करदा बुक्स से बने मयारी नोट्स और CSP पब्लिशर की बेहतरीन बुक्स मुहैया की जाएंगी।
Hamza, your favorite books are Metamorphosis by Frank Kafka.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you name a few other books written by Kafka?
Ma'am, I know only about one, The Trial, but I haven't read it, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Only one book I know about, apart from this.
And your favorite personality, Elon Musk.
Yes, ma'am.
He has become very controversial.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Ma'am, that would be basically because of his policies and his comments, I would say, especially the policy. Recently, he was being criticized due to what he did in Twitter. Basically acquired Twitter, named it to X, and he basically fired 80% of the employees. So that was the recent criticism that he faced. Apart from that, ma'am, I would say when you are in a field of innovation and you are designing, you are thinking out of the box, the criticism comes from the people, ma'am. I would say that. So in the case of Elon Musk, I would say, I mean, I'm not justifying his criticism, it's all valid, but why I like him is because of his innovation and his out of the box thinking. So that's what makes him my favorite personality, ma'am.
What is your take on his response to AI?
Right, ma'am. Currently, I saw one of his interviews where he was stating that AI should be controlled. It shouldn't be left to the left on its own. Otherwise, it would overtake humans and it would basically lead to the destruction of humanity. That's what he has said recently, ma'am. So I'm aware about that.
And I'm saying, what is your take on that?
What is my take on that? Ma'am, I would say I think he's right about that. AI should be monitored and regulated. I think it should be implemented with some sort of human touch to it, so that the humans can keep it under their control and AI does not, place the humans under its own control.
But you know that there is a criticism that after having done his own research on AI, he doesn't want competition. That's why he's saying that AI should now be controlled. because he has already done what he had to do. So it's not really as much sincerity to the research on AI or controlling them as the fears are being talked about, but because of keeping that edge on his competitors. What would you say to that?
I think that would be wrong, obviously. I mean, he's
Would that
using
be
this-
wrong?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
sure?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, if that would basically, I can relate it with the concept of business competition. I mean, that would be an unfair practice, because when you yourself have implemented a policy or a practice, and then you try to curb the other participants in the industry from that very practice, I would say, ma'am, that would be wrong.
And then your favorite person is doing it. What do you take on that?
Ma'am, as I said in the as I said in the beginning, there are some policies that I don't agree with, but his innovation and out of the box thinking is what I admire him from.
Yes. Last time also we spoke about birds. Tell me about birds.
Right, ma'am. The birds that I have, I only know about them, ma'am. I have a canary songbird.
A canary bird.
Yes, canary, ma'am. It's a songbird, and I have two francolins, grey francolins. They are basically from Iran. I got them from Kohat. Apart from that, I have 3 cockatiels. Those are the parrots with spikes. 2 diamond doves. They are basically called diamond doves because they have diamonds around their eyes. So that's why they are called. And ma'am, recently I got some rabbits as well. So I haven't written it down, but
But rabbits are not birds.
yes, ma'am, rabbits are not birds.
What species do rabbits belong to?
What species do they belong to? Are you asking about the breed, ma'am? Or
Yeah, no, classification,
ma'am, I'm
zoological
not
classification.
sure about the classification. No.
And tell me about the zoological names of the birds that you have. For example, the canary, the cockatoo. You said cockatoo?
Ma'am, not cockatoo. It's a smaller version of cockatoo. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. I'm not aware of the zoological names. I'll try to learn them, ma'am. That's important.
Yes, please do. You like spending time in nature,
Yes, ma'am.
and you know that nature is being destroyed.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your take on the forthcoming COP meeting, where it is being held?
Right, ma'am. The forthcoming COP28 is being held in Abu Dhabi, Dubai. It will be held at the Dubai Expo Center, and it makes it very important given that the climate change has been on the rise in the past few decades, and the commitments that were made at COP27, such as the Disaster Mitigation and Adaptation Fund, if I'm not wrong. So I think COP28 would be the best opportunity for the developing nations to utilize the platform to demand the global climate financing, which they can achieve using this platform. Apart from that, in the agenda of COP28, it has also been stated that one of the objectives would be that they would be focusing on inclusivity this time. I mean, the rural communities, for example, in the floodings of 2022, we saw that the women were severely affected, ma'am. So they are saying that we will be including more people of the impoverished, of the rural communities, I would say. So that would be, ma'am, about it. And I think the third point I'm not very sure about, but I read about that the climate change, the technology to curb climate change would also be would also be transferred to the developing nations by the developed nations.
You mean about the mitigation?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Hamza.
Okay.
Dr. Sahib?
Well, Hamza, I'll ask that what is the significance of polity?
Polity?
And political thought of Aristotle.
Right, sir. Sir, Aristotle basically classified the states. He classified the states in the form of pure forms of government and perverted forms of government. And he also divided the states in the form of how many rulers there were. For example, one, the many, the few.
Okay, tell me about polity.
Sir, polity, according to him, is the best form of government.
He's
Basically, I remember it from a code, MAP. I just know, sir, that he states that it's the best form of government. I don't know.
and it is best form of government. Which class dominates?
So I'm not aware of that.
Middle class.
Right, sir.
Okay, can you differentiate between interest group and pressure group?
Sir, interest group, I would say, if you allow me to take a guess, I would say, as the name suggests, they would have certain interests at the center of their demands. Pressure groups, I would say, they would be. Sir, I'm not very sure. I mean, I'm just trying to use the names and implement, but I'm not sure about the pressure.
Read political science because all these things are part of
Yes, sir. I'll have to
political
revise
society.
it. Yes.
Okay, and what is public opinion?
So public opinion, I would say it's the accumulation of the individuals that are living in a society. Basically, when you add the opinions of all those individuals, it changes into a public opinion. There are different characteristics. Public opinion, basically, I would say it requires a leader. It can be influenced by a leader or other channels as well. For example, media can play a role in public opinion, shaping the public opinion. So, sir, that would be about public opinion.
What is relation between good governance and rule of law?
Sir, I would say for good governance, rule of law is important.
What is rule of law?
So, rule of law basically is holding everyone equal in front of the law, and the application of law in a very equitable manner. For example, the rich should not be allowed to escape with their crimes. That would be rule of law.
Okay, you see 13 American colonies right now, United States of America and subcontinent, India, Bangladesh and Pakistan, both were the British colonies.
Yes, sir.
But we see rule of law in United States of America, but this rule of law is little bit absent in subcontinent.
Yes, sir.
What is the reason behind this?
Sir, I would say again, as I mentioned earlier, I think it can be attributed to the initial years of Pakistan. I think the way we were partitioned.
It's a major cause.
One major cause.
Yeah.
Sir, I would say in Pakistan, I would say, sir, institutional imbalance. I would say, sir.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. What is the significance of right of self-determination in Indian history for Muslims?
The right of self-determination in Indian history. Sir, I'm not.
You said that you went back and you go through Pakistan affair and Indo-Pak history.
Yes, sir, I did, but I cannot comprehend your question right now.
Okay. Can you tell me very significant cause behind the rejection of Simon Commission?
Yes, sir. Basically, when Simon Commission came to the subcontinent, there were slogans of Simon go back, and they were basically attributed to the fact that there was no Indian member in the commission. So they wanted.
You agree with Indians or not? If you would be over there
at that time,
yes, आप reject करते उसको या उनको welcome करते?
Sir, I would have rejected. Basically, I would say that they were.
You know that why they came to subcontinent? They came here to make a comprehensive formula upon which future constitution of India have to be.
Right, sir.
And you know that Indians were not familiar with making constitutional law.
Right.
So ये सबने reject कर दिया. This was I do think this is wrong.
Right, sir.
They were more expert. And now what you say? अब बताएंगे reject करते कि आप तुमको कहते?
Sir, now I would reject it, obviously. Without it,
okay.
Yes.
Okay. You know that in Indian history, there happened revivalist movements.
Right, sir.
Most of the revivalist movement failed, except one revivalist movement of Muslims.
Right, sir.
Why other revivalist movement? Name those revivalist movement who failed, and name that revivalist movement that's success.
Right, so you're referring to Shah Waliullah, Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan, Sir Sayyid Ahmad Shaheed Barelvi, and the fourth one was Haji Shariatullah. Sir, in my experience, what I have read, I think they were divided. There was distrust between them, and for instance, I would like to quote the example of the Faraizi movement.
कामयाब कौन सी हुई थी?
Sir, I think two nation theory, which was Aligarh movement by Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan. I think that succeeded, and the independence that we got, I think I attribute to that very movement.
Okay, you talk about Cold War. Can you tell me reason behind happening of Cold War, except then competition between capitalism and communism?
Sir, I would say the Yalta conference, I read about that, where the European states were divided into Eastern and Western. I think that very conference, I would say it was faulty because different ideologies and political systems just being separated by, I cannot recall, Iron Curtain. I think it was called Iron Curtain.
My last question. Divine love, Sufism and humanism. In sab mein kya cheez common hai? Because you wrote book.
Right, sir.
Divine Love by A. Hallerbaugh.
Divine Love, Humanism and
Sufism.
Sir, I would say they place humanity above everything. That would be the
Thank you.
this one line. Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, let's conclude it.
Right.
चलो यार, you were माशाल्लाह lot of improvement. ठीक है, you were fine. कब इंटरव्यू तुम्हारा?
Sir, मेरा Wednesday हुआ.
Plenty of chance. You will go beyond it. Improve करोगे.
ठीक है, रिवाइज करूंगा असल में रिवीजन.
लास्ट टाइम जो होता है ना, वो बहुत रिवीजन होता है और वो बहुत शार्पनेस आ जाती है.
जी,
तो भी रिलैक्स मूड में होते हैं ना.
ऐसे ही सर.
तो यू हैव डन वेल, कीप इट अप.
थैंक यू.
अभी तुम्हारे पास जो भी दिन 8-10 घंटे रोजाना पढ़ो.
ठीक सर.
ठीक है ना.
ठीक.
तो आई थिंक यू विल मेक इट. कितनी सीटें हैं केपी के?
सर आइडिया नहीं है मुझे.
ओके. क्वालिफाई कितने कितने हैं लोगों ने?
सर अभी डिस्कशन हो रही थी तो वो केपी के एक लड़का वो कह रहा है 30 हैं इस दफा क्वालिफाई जिन्होंने किया. कुछ
भी नहीं फिर तो. आप सर?
हाँ, काफी इम्प्रूव किया भी आपने. लास्ट टाइम जो है आप जो है ना काफी वो थे, पैची थे आपके जो था. तो दिस इज गुड. और कब है इंटरव्यू?
सर फर्स्ट को है, वेडनेसडे को.
विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर दैट.
थैंक यू.
और ये जो ये कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान को आप जाकर देख लें. ये आजकल इज़ वेरी मच इन द न्यूज़, क्योंकि इसके कोई पता नहीं 500 बिलियन रुपए के जो केसेस हैं, वर्थ केसेस होता ना, इसको फाइन करते हैं, ये चले आते हैं कोर्ट्स में चले आते हैं. दे आर पेंडिंग इन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. मोर देन 100 cases of CCP, they are pending in the Supreme Court of Pakistan, और उनकी वर्थ 560 बिलियन रुपीस की है. तो वो तो इसको जाकर जरा देख लेना चाहिए. हाँ, बाकी ये कायद का ये जो कैबिनेट प्लान आपने बड़ा शॉर्ट आंसर दिया. आप
सर इनको रिवाइज करना पड़ेगा.
आपने बड़ा शॉर्ट आंसर दिया. इसको भी जरा थोड़ा सा इसके और जो मतलब ट्राई टू एलेबोरेट.
ठीक है.
हाँ, उसके अलावा बाकी you did very well.
Thank you, sir.
And wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hamza, you have improved as everybody is saying. अच्छा, इंटरव्यू पे जो है बेटा आपके लॉजिक में कंट्रडिक्शन नहीं आनी चाहिए. मैंने अभी ये पॉइंट आपसे रेज नहीं किया. इन्होंने आपसे सिक्योरिटी पैक्ट्स का पूछा तो आपने कहा जी कि पाकिस्तान ज्वाइनिंग द सिक्योरिटी पैक्ट्स made it a security state. India is joining Quad, which is a security pact. Would it make India a security state? अगर आपको पैनलिस्ट ये सवाल पूछ लेता है जो मैं पूछने वाली थी, but paucity of time I didn't go into it. How would you defend your argument?
Right, ma'am.
So when you say something, जिस तरह वो चेस की गेम में होता है कि सारी चालें देख के फिर अपनी चाल चलनी है, कि what you're saying may draw more questions to you which you may not be able to defend.
जी मैम.
ठीक है.
जी जी.
अब जिस तरह इलॉन मस्क, मैंने ये आपसे this is being talked about कि is he really sincere about saying कि जी there should be a cap on AI research. एक तरफ आप कह रही हैं कि like innovations which he did. Actually he didn't do any innovations. टेस्ला भी वो किसी और की रिसर्च थी जो उसने ले ली थी, और अभी भी जो इनोवेशन है उस पर वो कैप लगाना चाह रहा है. तो जो तुम आर्ग्यूमेंट दो उसको सॉलिड तरीके से डिफेंड कर सको.
ठीक है.
ठीक है. सो गो थ्रू हिज रीसेंट डेवलपमेंट्स, थिंक थ्रू, so that when the panelists ask you can give a logical coherent answer. ठीक है. अब आपने जो लिख दिया है वो लिख दिया. I would not have recommended Elon Musk, but now that you've written, क्योंकि उसमें इतनी सारी कंट्रोवर्सी, क्या क्या तुम डिफेंड करोगे, लेकिन लिख दिया और वो जा चुका है, तो फिर वर्क ऑन इट.
ठीक है.
Last time also I told you to study the zoological names of your birds.
मैम ये करूँगा जाके.
वो आपने नहीं किया. Other than that, you're good. ये थोड़ी सी चीजें लूज एंड टाई अप कर लो, you will really be good. You have a good chance to score high result. Huh? Wish you all the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Well, आप जो है ना थोड़ा सा और टच देंगे ना रीडिंग को, you're far better than your previous interview. आज बहुत अच्छा आपने उसमें आंसर आपने किए। एक चीज़ जो कैबिनेट मिशन प्लान वाला सर ने मैं आपको बहुत 1-2 वर्ड्स में आपको बता देता हूँ। भाई 1940 में ये डिसाइड कर दिया था मुस्लिम लीग ने, हम जो है मुल्क के अलावा किसी बात पे कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ नहीं करेंगे। बट कैबिनेट मिशन प्लान में उन्होंने, ब्रिटेन ने कहा कि भाई हम इंडिया डिवाइड नहीं कर रहे रहेंगे। बट उन्होंने वो जो 3 स्कीम बनाई ना ग्रुप की, उसमें एक चीज़ नज़र आ रही थी कि शायद इनको कहा गया था कि 10 साल के बाद ये अपना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डिवाइस कर सकते हैं। कायदे आज़म वाज ए कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, विजनरी थे बहुत ज़्यादा। उन्होंने कहा चलो ठीक है, चुप करके इसको मान लिया। कांग्रेस बड़ी हैरान थी कि ये क्यों मान लिया, तो फिर कांग्रेस ने इसको जो है ना रिजेक्ट कर दिया जब मुस्लिम लीग ने। सो ये बड़ी लॉजिकल सी बात है, आपको बुक्स में समझ नहीं, किसी टीचर से बात करके पूछ लिया करें ऐसी चीज़ें। ठीक है, और थोड़ा सा कंसेप्चुअल और थोड़ा सा एक टच देंगे तो यू विल बी ओके।
ओके सर,
ठीक है
सर, ठीक। थैंक यू सर,
बेस्ट ऑफ
थैंक यू
लक।
मैम, थैंक यू सर,
थैंक यू, बेस्ट ऑफ लक।
थैंक यू सर।